Yo, what up? It's your boy, as always, Mr. Clutch, and I'm here with the one, the only, the greatest, the Gamers Lab. And I've been MIA for a while, and I'm sure y'all probably been wondering why. So, real quick, before I go over the video for today, long story short, I was gone for a while. I got pulled basically short notice to go do a 2-month-long training for my job, and I was not here to record the video, so I apologize, but it's the end of the holiday season and we're looking to get back in gear going into 2016 with tons of tips and more content for you guys, for all the hardcore Madden players that are still out there gaming and getting y'all life on the the new football system. So that covers that. Now that that's covered, I want to go over a video that has been long awaited, that I wanted to be bringing you guys for a while, but I just didn't have the time to before, obviously. But it is the defensive operational tutorial, pretty much on how to use all the different buttons on defense, how the defensive side of the ball works, and exactly what you guys can do to understand a lot of these videos that people put out on how to set up blitzes and how to play different coverages in the game. So this video is going to be pretty lengthy, but I'm going to try to get through it as fast as possible. If you guys already have a basic understanding of a lot of the plays and a lot of the different setups for pre-snap and post-snap, then this video might not necessarily be for you, but have no fear, because I will be releasing some other videos very shortly to get back into some tips, and I have been doing some labbing, so I got some good stuff to show you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the video and start breaking down the defensive side of the ball. So especially for my new guys or my people that haven't really played Madden in a while or looking to get back into it, you guys have a breakdown on exactly how to set up your defense on the defensive side of the ball, both pre-snap and post-snap. And as always, if you have any questions after the video's over, anything that I didn't cover that you still have concerns about, just ask it, leave it in the comment section below, and I will respond to it very promptly. And if it's big enough and it's something major, glaring that I left out, then I will maybe even do another video that'll explain specifically exactly what you're asking. So let's go ahead and get to it. Call a play here that is going to be favorable to show you guys some of the stuff that I want to show you. We'll just come out with the basic 3-4 odd. We'll go cover 2 to start. So I'm going to start from the line of scrimmage back when I go through and break down everything. The first thing we'll cover is the defensive line. So in order to control the defensive line, you know what, before I get into that, let's talk about general formation changes. So if you press triangle, you can bring up a lot of things, and all of the things that you do with the left stick will adjust pretty much your entire formation. So those are called coverage adjustments. So the first thing that you can do that is very popular that a lot of people do is something called base align. So if you notice right now, the alignment is pretty similar to a normal formation on defense, but base align, what that does is it makes your defense look exactly the same and set in the exact position that the formation is designed for them to be in. Normally what they're going to do is, especially depending on the play that you call, they're going to line up based on the alignment of the offense or the alignment of where they're supposed to play. So for example, with this formation, you have people that the cornerbacks are lined up a little bit tighter because the outside receivers are a little bit tighter. So notice when I base align by pressing triangle and then right on the left stick or the D-pad, they'll shift back to where they're supposed to be, their normal alignments, the normal alignments for the play. If you tap baseline again after you're already baselined, you'll cancel it and they'll go back to their alignment that they would use when they set up for this play. Now we're playing in a cover 2, and that's why they're playing down a little bit more than they normally would and a little bit more to the inside. Another alignment adjustment, that if I was in cover 3, this guy here, he would be in a flat and he would come and slide down. But when you base aligned, he would move back to his normal position, and baseline just disguises the coverage and gives you one uniform look. A lot of people, when they do blitz setups, they want a baseline because that way they are running the formation with the intended purpose and everybody's in their normal alignment, the same alignment every time, because if they're not in their normal alignment, when somebody comes out in a weird formation, then they won't be in position to come in correctly for the blitz to work. So that's what baseline does. You also have, if you press triangle and down, you'll press, and what that does is that just puts the cornerbacks and whoever's defending the person that's on the line of scrimmage across from them right in their face. So presses are commonly used with plays where you call man defense. Will actually bump the wide receivers off the line and not give them that clean release. You can also use this to disguise your coverage sometimes. So like for example here, I'm not in man, but I can still press if you want to mix up man and zone, but give that press look every time. Call and press is something that you might want to do. Next we have show blitz, and what that does is that just puts more people in the box. So as you see, the safety will come down, and now you have 8 people in the box, and a lot of times based on the formation, but a lot of times your defensive line will also pinch and come closer together, and this is really designed to either stop the run or make it look like you're blitzing people to throw off the offense. And then the last thing is called give cushion, and what that does is that basically just backs all of your defensive backs, your corners and your safeties up from their normal 10 yards to be about 15 yards deep for the safeties and 10 yards deep for the corners. And you usually do this at late game situations when you're trying to run like a prevent defense and prevent them from getting big yards. So that's all of your coverage adjustments. With that being said, I will cover playing inside, outside, underneath, and over top. So all this is basically is your shading. So it's going to dictate how your how your defenders play the receivers. So if you play over top, they're going to play behind, and that is going to keep them between the end zone and the receiver. So they're going to want to play behind obviously the different zones that they're in will also dictate this. If they're in a flat zone, they're not going to play 1,000 yards deep. If they're in a flat zone and somebody's in the flats, they're not going to play a streak. But they will try their best to keep the person in front of them. This doesn't always work. Shading isn't perfect, and sometimes they will still beat you in the position you're trying to prevent. But for the most part, it does do a pretty good job. So you got over top. If you play inside, then they'll protect the middle more. Outside will protect the sidelines more, and underneath will play down. I like to call underneath a lot when I'm trying to get them to jump routes like flats and different routes where they'll play a little bit more aggressive if somebody's playing a lot of like short ball with you. Last, you have man align. Well, they'll line up somewhat in accordance with the wide receivers or the person that they're playing against. I'm in a tight formation, so this isn't a great example, and they're also in cover 2. But if we were to call, for example, man, now we're in man defense, and they man align, as you can see, let me call it one more time, they'll line up directly with the person that they're defending. So this can be good if you're trying to press, or if you just want to disguise the coverage to make them think that you're a man. Again, similar to the stock when they come out, but man align does a little bit better job of getting directly in front of the person that you're defending against. So the last adjustment that we have is the sticks adjustment, and what that does is just going to prevent the defense from getting behind or in front of the line of the first down mark. So if you're in a flat zone and it's 2nd and 5, and you tell them protect the sticks, then they're going to play right at that 5-yard line and not let anybody behind them and swarm to kind of make a tackle. That's the best way I use to protect from like drag routes and other stuff like that when it's short yardage. So it's a really useful thing to use at times. And then the last thing, since I'm covering it anyway, I may as well. If you hit triangle to quick adjust, you can adjust the assignments of the defensive backs by hitting the quick adjust button, hitting the button of the person that you want to change, and then you get to pick what assignment you want to put them in. I'll cover this a little bit more in depth, but this is very useful because in the past you'd have to click on the person that you want to actually adjust, and if you're trying to make a lot of adjustments, this can be very timely. So it's pretty much a faster way to get your setups down. You just hit the quick adjust button, say I want to adjust circle, put them in a deep blue. I would hit the circle button, back, and now the cornerback on the right side of the screen is in a deep blue. So next I'll talk about the linemen. In order to adjust the linemen, you'll be hitting L1. L1 is everything lineman. So when you hit L1, you use the left stick to slide your line. That'll actually shift the defensive lineman. So if I want them to pinch down, I can do that by hitting L1 down, and then left to right, and then spread will spread them out. And then when you hit L1 and then you hit the right stick, you adjust their actual blitzing angles. So right now by stock they look like they're crashing to the right. If you see those red lines, you can see what direction they're crashing in. And then you can adjust this as well. So say I'm setting up a blitz where I want to pinch the line and crash them down. I want them tight and I want them to crash in. What I would do is I would hit L1 and then down on the left stick to pinch them, and then I would hit L1 and down on the right stick, and now they're pinched, and as you can see they're all crashing down. This is something that you need to be very familiar with if you're going to be setting up blitzes, because this is a common setup to pinch the line and crash down. And then you can, a lot of times with blitzes, you have to re-blitz somebody or something like that. You could either highlight over them or use the quick adjust and select them, hit X, and then crash down. So I will talk about that when I get to the linebackers on really how to adjust coverages, but for the linemen, that's pretty much what you got. So next we'll talk about the linebackers. To control the linebackers, you're going to hit the right bump R1, and then you can, similar to the linemen, the left stick will spread them or move them. You can spread, shift them left, shift them right, pinch them. Another thing that I wasn't even really familiar with until before was if you hit the L2 button, you can clear the shift, and that'll set them back to where they are supposed to be, where they originally started. Same thing with the linemen there. So you hit L1 and L2 and you would clear the linemen so they go back to their original alignment. So some other things with the linebackers, you can adjust the direction globally without having to click on them. You can adjust how they play. So for example, if you hit LB on the R1 and then use the right stick, you can, to the right, you blitz just one linebacker on the right. It's called global blitzing. If you hit the right R1 and then the left on the right stick, you'll blitz the left of screen outside linebacker. And now notice that this is left of screen and right of screen. Actually, the right outside linebacker is actually on the left, so technically that's wrong, but you're blitzing the right of screen linebacker when you click it to the right. So that's how you control your linebackers. Another thing you can do is zone them all. So if you hit R1, zone all linebackers, you would put up on the right stick, and then you see now they're all in hook zones. And you hit down on the right stick, you can blitz all of them instead of having to individually click on each one to blitz. So if you have to do a setup like that, that's a big time saver. You just use the global blitz option or the global zone option, and you'll globally either blitz or zone all of them. So that is very useful. And then I already kind of touched on the safeties and the defensive backs, but last thing that I really want to cover is if you hit X, this is your coverage adjustments. So you do this for every single player on the game. It's the same. You highlight over the person or use that quick select button where you tap the button that you want to select them with twice. So for the lineman, it's L1 twice. Then you select the lineman you're trying to control. Linebackers would be R1 twice. You select the linebacker you're trying to control. Or for the safeties, you hit triangle twice. And that's how you get to the quick adjust. From there, you select the receiver. You select the defensive back. Say I'm going to select Rambo, and then this is the same as highlighting over someone and then hitting X. Same exact menu. From here, you can see the different assignments. So for the left stick, you got deep zones. A lot of times you put people in like flats or the purples. A purple is going to play a little bit deeper. That's going to be like your corner routes. You're taking away corner routes with purples. But a lot of times I've noticed you really want to slide those different assignments that play the flats and the sidelines. You want to slide them out because they actually play their position a lot better. Same thing with the flats. You want to slide them out a little bit, and then they'll end up playing the flats a lot better. Whereas if you have him here and he's playing a flat zone, a lot of times they won't get there in time, and also they tend to drop back opposed to drop out when they're starting from the middle of the field. So if you have a sideline route, if you can help it, if you want to try to put them outside to the sideline. So then you also have the the last one you have the deep zone. I talked about the flat, the curl to flat, the purple. The flat zone is the light blue, the deep zone is the deep blue, and then the hook zone is the yellow. You put them in the hook zone and they'll play that general area in the middle of the field. So that's pretty straightforward. And then if you use the right stick, you can man hit whoever you're selecting up by hitting up on the right stick, and then you select the receiver. To go left, you'll do QB spy, and this will put a spy on the quarterback from wherever position you want to do. A lot of times people spy linebackers instead of blitzing. Say you have a blitz where you're supposed to be blitzing 4 people. Instead of blitzing 4, you'd rather blitz 3 and then have a spy so the quarterback can't run around. When I'm playing max coverage defense, I usually have to put at least 1 spy out there, and then when they roll out, you have somebody to stop them from rolling and trying to manipulate your different flats and all that other stuff. It's a headache when you have people that roll out a lot. So one other note, when you do call a spy, even if you're not on the spy, the person that you're controlling, if you hit straight down, so like R3, straight down on the right stick, you actually will tell your spy to go blitz the quarterback, opposed to just sitting there and waiting for him to take off. So if your person is rolling out, to the right and they're like 50 yards deep, here I'll show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. I'll spy everybody, and then I'm gonna roll out with Tom Brady. Bear with me because I'm trying to use 2 controllers. As you can see, they're kind of just sitting. You click the right stick, and then all 3 of those guys come and blitz. So that's how that'll work. I think I pretty much covered everything with the coverage adjustments. We talked about the different zones you can put them in, manning them up, the spy, the bluff. Oh, the last thing, the bluff blitz. What that do, they'll take 1 step forward, so the defense will think that they're blitzing, and then they'll actually drop back into coverage. Not really that useful, other than when people use it when they set up blitzes. It's like, they'll tell you to put a specific person on a bluff blitz to get them to trick the linemen so that they have somebody come in free. But in like all actuality, it doesn't really trick the defense that much, and I don't really use it that often unless I'm specifically doing it to set up a blitz. And then obviously the last thing is just having the person blitz straight down. Pretty straightforward. Now, one thing to note about blitzes, when you have somebody blitzing from the middle of the field, you can see the blitz angle is straight down, and then when you slide them out, there's a certain threshold. When they get to the outside, their blitz angle will change from coming straight down to coming at an angle. This is also very important when you're setting up a lot of blitzes, because sometimes you need to have that person slid to the point where their blitz angle changes in order for the blitz to come in. And a lot of times when blitzes don't come in, it's because they don't have them in the right position for their blitz angle to change. Just because you slide them out, he's still blitzing straight down, this might mess a blitz up, and you might not have him out far enough, or vice versa, you might have him out too far and the blitz angle's changing when he needs to be coming straight down. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're sending blitzes and when you're setting these blitzes up. So I think I pretty much covered all the basics for the defensive tutorial. If there's any other questions you guys have, then like I said, leave them in the comments below. One couple things that I want to touch on, just like some key terms if you're not really familiar with, a few of the phrases that people commonly use on the defensive side of the ball, I wanted to explain to you guys. So the first thing is called a nano. If somebody nanoing you, that means that they're setting up the blitz or blitzing a certain amount of people that tricks the offensive lineman and allows somebody to come in pretty much untouched, and it comes in a nanosecond, hence the term nano. So you have A gap nanos, B gap nanos, where they come. That just determines what gap they come in. So if it's an A gap, they're going to come in this gap here. If it's a B gap, they're coming in this gap here. And then if it's edge heat, that's pretty self-explanatory, but that just means they're going to come free off the edge. So this guy might come straight down. And that can be on either side of the ball. So somebody says, I have a 5-man A gap. What they're saying is they have a blitz that is a nano that blitzes the A gap, where the guy comes free right up the A gap, and they're sending 5 people on the blitz. 5-man A gap. So 5-man, 4-man, 3-man, whatever you gotta say. That's what those phrases are for. The next thing I want to talk about is lurking. What lurking means is pretty much you are just usering with the defensive, usually a defensive back or a linebacker, and if you're lurking, you're just kind of playing the area of the field, and then you're waiting to see what the offense is going to do and looking to jump routes. So if I'm lurking here, I'm lurking in the middle of the field, and you got Martin, who's the wide receiver on the left, on a slant, and I lurk him, then that just means I'm just shadowing him. As he comes across, I'm going to stay underneath of him, and when he throws the pass, I can get the interception. A screamer, that's another name for a blitz, or a nano that comes in really fast. If it's screaming or you're screaming at the quarterback, that means that you just have a really good nano. And in definition, all nanos are going to be good nanos, but a lot of screamers are unslidable or unblockable. So what that means is, I don't know if you guys saw the first video, but the first video I talked about the offensive line adjustments, and you can slide your line to pick up blitzes and stuff in certain directions. So if I have a nano on defense where the person's always coming off the left edge, then I can slide my line to the left, and the offensive lineman will slide over, and a lot of times it'll mess blitzes up. So if a blitz is unslidable, what the person is saying that no matter what direction they slide in, the blitz will still come in. So that's unslidable, and then unblockable obviously just means if you block like a running back or a tight end or something, it'll still come in. So an unslidable, unblockable nano is going to be disgusting because there's really nothing you can do to pick it up, but there's not a ton of those out there. 9 times out of 10, most blitzes always have a direction you can either slide or block in order to get them picked up. But that doesn't mean it's not a good blitz, especially if it takes a while to figure out exactly what that blitz is, or you have multiple blitzes. Say you have the same formation, you might have a blitz that gets picked up if they slide left, but then you have another blitz that comes in when they slide left but gets picked up when you slide right. You alternate between the two, and they won't know which is coming. There's a 50-50 shot every time that they're gonna slide the wrong way, and you'll get the blitz to come in free. So I don't think it's about having one perfect blitz. It's about having a combination of different blitzes that get picked up by different things that you can use in different situations. Or you might have a blitz where you're just sending 6 people and it's unblockable and unslidable, and you want to send that on 3rd and long to sack the quarterback before his receivers have the opportunity to get downfield to make a big play. So keep that in mind where you guys are coming up with your defensive schemes. Those are pretty much all the terms that I could think of for now. If you guys, like I said before, if you have any other questions, just shoot them in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. We stayed under 30 minutes, so that was impressive. If you guys were bored to death, I'm sorry. Like I said, if this wasn't for the experienced Madden player, this was going to be for the new guys or for somebody that was trying to touch up on their skills that might not haven't played the game in a while. So other than that, I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and then comment if you have any questions. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. It's Mr. Clutch. I'm out.